home office in Toronto. Pierre, the Hawks sent a message to their fans on Tuesday. Get ready for some pain. The rebuild is now officially on. So what's this mean for veterans like Toews, Kane, Keith, and Seabrook?
Well, first on that message sent to fans through the team's website, very similar to what the New York Rangers did a number of years ago when the Rangers announced the rebuild. I'd say the difference right now is that the Hawks have already been doing their rebuild. It's just that they decided to come out and be really honest and transparent about where that is. And the fact is they want to continue to get younger and accumulate other young players. But when it comes to those four players you just mentioned, they want those guys to be part of this rebuild. And in fact, GM Stan Bowman had a video call a few days ago with Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane and Brent, Seabrook and Duncan Keith to further explain where the Hawks are, what they plan to do. Now, we'll see how those players react. I mean, at this point, we haven't heard from them, and they've got time to digest this during this offseason. But certainly, the Blackhawks want those players, those veterans, to be part of this rebuild. We'll see where that goes.
You mentioned this offseason, Pierre. The Lightning paraded the Stanley Cup around the ice in the bubble in Edmonton just over 3 weeks ago, and we still have no idea when the new season is going to begin. Any progress on that front?
Well, what I can tell you is that the NHL-NHLPA joint committee, which has been tasked with the return to play, they haven't met yet. Now, it's not because they're not working. The league internally is gathering intel from its clubs, and eventually this joint committee is going to meet. There's going to be about 10 players on this joint committee. In the meantime, there's an NHL GMs meeting on Friday. It's the first official GMs meeting really since Boca Raton in March, although the GMs have met on calls, especially in the springtime after COVID shut down the regular season. And this is an important GMs meeting. I mean, one key item, the AHL. NHL GMs want to know what they're going to do with their prospects as they await when the AHL season will begin. Now, I spoke with AHL President Scott Housen, who says that while December 4th remains the target date to start the AHL season, that's likely going to be pushed back to mirror somewhat what the NHL is going to do. But I can tell you this, there are some NHL GMs that want their prospects playing as soon as possible. So that's going to be an interesting conversation on Friday. One last note, the 7 teams that did not participate in return to play this past summer, they're going to get some good news. They've asked for some extra training camp time, and I'm told that the NHL and NHLPA have tentatively agreed that those teams could have extra training camp time ahead of the normal training camps, whenever that is, next season.
Pierre, another juicy item that's on the agenda, but not in the short term. Every single player in the National Hockey League wants to know the answer to what happens to players' salaries. Will they be prorated in the event of a shortened season? And there really is no answer to this point. The NHLPA has been operating under the belief this entire time that as soon as the players play one game in the 2021 season, that they will receive all of their stated salary minus 20% for escrow and 10% for a salary deferral. But at this point, there's been very little talk. As you mentioned, the two sides have not even yet met to begin to hash out these plans. The league has remained very quiet. It doesn't explicitly say in the memorandum of understanding for this collective bargaining agreement what happens in the event of a shortened season. So stay tuned. This could be a real bone of contention at some point in the future moving forward, something that both these sides jointly say they're going to have to discuss.
Bottom line, while the players are playing on the ice, the general managers are going to have to do a lot of juggling off the ice, at least while we have this flat cap.